Somehow, Ryan Reynolds projects just keep sucking money out of taxpayers' pockets.
Yeah, we've lost some time.
Hi and welcome to Flossom Talk. I'm Shashti Floor, journalist, Hollywood truth teller, and your voice of reason in a town built on delusion. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who sent me so many great tips. I really appreciate it. Please keep them coming. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I see half of the people watching my videos are not subscribed, and maybe you've been unsubscribed. That also happens. Anyways, let's just jump right in. Today, Blake Lively's attorneys sent another letter to the judge saying, hey, we don't believe that the messages they are saying are privileged actually are privileged. Or you can translate it to, hey judge, we need some more text messages that we can take out of context and spin in the press. Also, very interesting reporting in Forbes magazine about Deadpool versus Wolverine and how much money it actually made, and how somehow Ryan Reynolds projects just keep sucking money out of taxpayers' pockets. People magazine is writing this really cute story on Justin Baldoni's family today. I found this thing a little bit weird, and I'll explain why. Also, another letter to the judge from all parties basically saying that Justin Baldoni and the Wayfair parties are willing to give Blake Lively some more rope. You got to hear this. And yesterday I went to the screening of The Rock's last movie, The Smashing Machine. He is so good in that movie, and he was there yesterday. He was interviewed after the screening by Charlize Theron. Apparently they're really good friends, and she was having a laugh. They're really cute and good together. I was kind of planning to go up to him after the screening and ask him about that feud with Ryan Reynolds, but then I chickened out and I was like, okay, it's his night. I'm not going to ask him these things. But anyways, he took so much time to talk to everyone and he was really sweet. And I just wanted to say that he's one of those people, one of those really few people that you meet that are just genuinely so nice. I think he is the #1 charismatic person that I've interviewed, and he really deserves all the attention that he's getting from this part. I know the movie hasn't done very well, but I love the conversation, as I said, with Charlize Theron, and she was asking him a question, and he always makes it personal, which is what we want. We don't want to sit there and listen to all the technical stuff that went on behind the scenes when they were making a movie. We want to hear about The Rock's personal experience, and he actually shared that 15 of his friends from his wrestling days have already passed due to substance abuse, which is really scary. And that's also what this movie is about. So a little side note there before we get into all the juicy stuff. So as I said, Blake Lively sent another letter to the judge. There's not one day that she doesn't send a letter to the judge asking him for some favors. So now it's still about the signal messages. But now we moved from the signal messages that don't exist, the ones that were auto-deleted, to the ones that already exist. So then what's left are the messages that are marked as privileged by the Wayfair parties. That means that there were conversations between them and their attorney, and the judge agrees that those are privileged conversations and should not be shared with Blake's team. Anyways, now Blake is saying that, hey, not all of those conversations should be privileged because I see there are some chats here where Brian Friedman or any attorney is not on the thread, so we have to see those text messages. Those text messages are most likely strategies, like PR strategies. As we know, Justin's team was working really hard trying to defend him against all the negative press that Blake put out there. So that's what I'm guessing these text messages are about. And now Blake wants to see them, and I don't think it's because she thinks there's a smoking gun here. It's because she thinks that some of those text messages probably, maybe can be used in the press to spin the narrative in her favor again. So now it's up to the judge again to decide if Blake's team is going to have access to more text messages from Baldoni's team. So yeah, as you know, for Blake, it's all about those signal messages. That's what she's building this entire case on right now. and especially the ones that were auto-deleted, because just, you know, she's saying all the evidence was in there. And there is another letter to the judge today. This is from all parties. So I think Brian Friedman and the Wayfair party, they just agreed that, okay, let's give them more time. So this is a discussion about those unsealed documents. Not the documents that we're waiting for this week, because that is from another batch of documents. This is from the big batch of documents. And the judge ruled that by December 19th, all parties had to redact everything that they wanted redacted, you know, like phone numbers and email addresses and personal information like that from those documents. And now all parties are saying that, hey, we need more time. I don't know why they need more time. I guess they're overwhelmed and they're trying to find strategies and especially how to work the press before all of this new evidence comes out. Because we know for sure there's some real bombshell here. So I think the reason why Wayfair parties agreed to this is just like, hey, judge, just give them more rope. So yeah, let's see if the judge agrees to this, if he wants everything to move faster, or if he's going to say, okay, since everyone agrees for once, I'm going to give you more time. So they're basically asking to move this until after Christmas, January. I don't know if it's because the court is closed during Christmas. As you remember last year when Blake filed her lawsuit against Justin on December 19th, he didn't have the chance to respond until after New Year's because the court was closed. And maybe that's what they're worried about here. But then again, if they actually start unsealing, it probably wouldn't happen until next year anyways. So yeah, I don't know if this is a major thing or not. We are all going to see the evidence no matter what, if it happens later this year or next year. And this week, Wednesday or Thursday, and even Friday, we are probably going to see a lot more stuff get unsealed. I am really hoping for some text messages from Taylor Swift and also some text messages from Ryan Reynolds. And thank you, Katie, for sending me this reminder, this video, this interview that Justin Baldoni did with Access Hollywood when he was promoting the movie. But in this interview, he says that he found Isabella Ferrer and he loved her as young Lily. And then he brought her audition tape to Taylor and Blake.
I had actually brought in and showed her casting tape to Blake and Taylor, and they were both like, yes, her. And that's a true story.
So yes, if he brought it to them in person, if he was with Taylor Swift, if they had a meeting together, that means that Taylor met Justin many times. As we know so far, she met him twice in 2 meetings where she just happened to be. And if this is the case, if he met them in person and showed them Isabella's audition, then she met him quite a few times. I also found this interview to be so telling about Justin Baldoni's personality and his character. In this interview, he's describing Blake as beloved and recognizable, and he's saying that Isabella is a phenomenal actress.
When you have somebody as beloved and as recognizable as Blake, the only way it can really work is if you have somebody that resembles her. So we did a TikTok search. We looked through thousands of women and tapes. And you know, we had lookalikes submit who had never acted before. And then I found Isabella. Our wonderful casting director sent me her tape, and I watched it. And I remember asking, did she put that mole there in that place? And if you look at her at the right angle, it's a spitting image. More than just the resemblance, she is a phenomenal actress.
This is after they've done all the stuff that they've done to him. He's sitting there praising them. I mean, the amount of integrity that Justin Baldoni has shown through all of this is just amazing to me. Okay, so let's get into what Ryan Reynolds has been up to. This is quite interesting. This article, I saw some other people talk about it yesterday. It was in Forbes magazine, and I think they actually took some of this information from the Evening Standard in the UK, because apparently this is a big deal over there, and I totally understand why. So this article basically explains how Deadpool and Wolverine cost $500 million to make and didn't really make a profit. It's not been like this humongous financial success that Ryan Reynolds has been bragging about. So basically they shot this movie in the UK, and the reason for that is because they have tax incentives over there. So what happens when you shoot a big movie in the UK, the government reimburses you 25% of the money that you spend in their country. That's basically taxpayers' money. And that's something the Evening Standard pointed out, saying that the government has come under fire after it emerged that a record £60 million of taxpayers' cash was handed to Disney last year to film the Ryan Reynolds superhero movie Deadpool and Wolverine in London, despite the studio making $3 billion of operating profit in 2024. Then they explain what this money could be spent on. It could cover the cost of 802 GPs for a year, or it could give 4,227 hip operations, or 61 MRI scanners. And instead of spending money on that, the government decided to give the money to Disney and Ryan Reynolds. So there are a few interesting aspects here. One is that the movie didn't really make that much profit. And also the fact that the UK government paid so much money for this movie to be made in the UK. This is crazy on so many levels because A, what is a movie like Deadpool actually contributing to that makes the world a better place? It's only for profit. And the fact that the taxpayers have to pay for that, for Ryan Reynolds to fly his private jet around and brag about how successful he is, and as I spoke about yesterday as well, also taxpayers' money is going to subsidize his soccer club, Wrexham. So all of this information really hurts Ryan, obviously, because he has this image of everything he touches turns to gold, but apparently it doesn't. And the fact that he's spending government money who could actually help other people, other citizens who actually need it, it's pretty appalling. And it's interesting to see now how the media is starting to pick up these stories. And it's all Ryan Reynolds' fault. No one would start digging into these things unless he would have opened up this opportunity by showing his real colors through this lawsuit of Blake Lively's. Anyways, there is this cute story in People magazine today. I thought it was really weird. And I'm like, what is the story here? I'm trying to be objective here, and I think this story is kind of ridiculous. So People magazine is writing a story about Justin Baldoni and his kids, basically. It's a family piece with no news aspect to it. It says Justin Baldoni's 2 kids, all about daughter Maya and son Maxwell. It ends with a star shares 2 kids, Maya and Maxwell, with his wife, Emily. That's the story and the headline here. It's kind of a cute fluff piece, but then again, I just feel like it's unnecessary. I don't know if this is even planted. I think maybe people want to do a story like this to come off as more balanced. As we know in the beginning, I felt like People magazine was truly biased towards Blake Lively until Taylor Swift entered the conversation, and then they were like, okay, let's be a bit more balanced here now because we want the goodwill of Taylor Swift. She's more important to us than Blake Lively. So now they're balancing things out a little bit. As I said, it was a cute piece, but I just don't get it. Why would they write a story about Justin Baldoni's wife and kids? And they don't even mention the lawsuit in here. So that's why this piece is not SEO manipulation either, because they're not using the tag words here to make this story appear if someone Googles. And that's why I guess I have to conclude that it's not planted, that they just wanted to write the story to come off as more balanced and hoping that it will create some clicks because people are searching for Justin Baldoni. Anyways, today is the big premiere of the Netflix documentary about P. Diddy, the one that 50 Cent has produced. I can't wait to watch that.
We have to find somebody that'll work with us that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business. We're losing.
I don't know about you guys, but I find this so fascinating. And talking about narcissists here, not that I'm going to compare Blake Lively and P. Diddy here, but they have some of the same traits. Blake keeps telling on herself all the time in interviews and when she's recording herself. And the same thing goes for P. Diddy. And some of this new footage that we haven't seen before have been obtained by 50 Cent. And of course, Mr. Combs' legal team is not happy about that. They say that that footage is illegal and whatever. I don't think it really matters. We get to see it, which is the important thing here. So a spokesperson for Mr. Combs here says that the streaming giant is plainly desperate to sensationalize every minute of Mr. Combs' life without regard for truth in order to capitalize on a never-ending media frenzy. I'm sorry, but we can't have any sympathy for P. Diddy. And there's a video footage of what he has done to people. His ex-girlfriend is there. We can see it with our own eyes. And then they're saying here that they ripped private footage out of context. I've seen the footage. It's not out of context, including conversations with his lawyers that were never intended for public viewing. Then why did he film it? No rights in that material were ever transferred to Netflix or any third party, the representative added. I'm sure they can go after Netflix and sue them and whatever, but it's not going to change anything. And the director of the docuseries came out with a statement to Variety saying that the footage came to us and they obtained the footage legally and have the necessary rights. And she said that we moved heaven and earth to keep the filmmaker's identity confidential. One thing about Sean Combs is that he's always filming himself, and it's been an obsession throughout the decades. We also reached out to Sean Combs' legal team for an interview and comment multiple times, but did not hear back. So yes, we're not going to see an interview with Sean Combs in this documentary about him. I think it's so great that someone like 50 Cent is behind this. And as I said, I'm really curious to watch this when I get the time. Anyway, that's it from you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And thank you so much for watching and all that stuff. And subscribe and like and share and hype and comment. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Yeah, we've lost some talk.